her Lyme disease gone, and she looks great. There's a before and after picture. She looks
and is
great.
she taking vitamins as well?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Beef and salt.
Right. So this is what you hear. So this anecdotal story is what leads you to give that a try.
Well,
and what
I
year
thought,
is this?
yeah, this is 2017, so December. Almost, yeah, so not quite a year.
Okay.
So I switched over, and then I had these transition symptoms.
Diarrhea.
Yeah, that was basically it. Some craving.
It's bold to hang in there with 6 weeks of diarrhea.
Yeah, but the alternative was like anxiety and itching and arthritis.
Well, you were also probably at the end of your rope, right? Where you're like,
oh yeah,
Jesus Christ, I can't even eat miso soup. Right?
Yeah, there's nothing. I was like, I don't care about salad. I've already given up everything I love. Just take it away. And then after 6 weeks, it got better. And then I reintroduced olives, and that went badly. And I thought, okay, I'm done with the reintroductions. I'm just sticking with meat.
Your dad said he's going to try to reintroduce mushrooms.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. He seems to be weirdly sensitive too, like in the same category as me. But instead of getting arthritis and all these other things as well, he just gets the depression, which is the worst one.
Well, he said he introduced something to his diet, and he didn't sleep for like 24 days.
Yeah, so
like, that's not even possible. Like,
well,
he would be dead.
No, that's what it felt like. I had the same thing. We ate the same thing. I think it was sulfites in apple cider in a stew I made.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it was. I think that's what it was. And yeah, and then it was the itching came back, and the doom came in, this depression came in, and then that's weird, and it hasn't happened very many times, but I got stuck with insomnia. And it felt like we weren't sleeping.
So you slept like a little bit and you wake up?
Probably, yeah. It does not what it felt like, but
right.
I'm sure, it's not physically possible to stay awake for that long, but it didn't feel like sleeping.
What's the world record that someone's ever stayed awake? I think it's only like 10 days.
Yeah, I think it's 10 or 11.
Yeah. Something along those lines.
God, why would he do that? Was it just a test?
Person. 11 days and 25 minutes.
25 minutes? What? At that 26th minute, that dude went down hard. Wow, that's crazy. So obviously your dad unless your dad stomped the shit out of that world record.
No, I'm sure he was sleeping, but it was like, it didn't feel like that, and it wasn't very much.
It's just crazy that one thing. What do you remember what it was that he reintroduced to his diet?
Might have been, it wasn't a reintroduction, it was, we were just still eating apples at that point, and it was a cider, and it had sulfites added, and I looked at it and thought, whatever, it's like parts per million sulfites, it'll be fine. And then that was the only thing that was new.
So do you think that as you get onto this elimination diet and you start taking things out,
you get more sensitive.
You get more sensitive. So it's like one of the things that I noticed in a big way is when I cut sugar out of my diet. If I have sugar now, like if I go crazy and have an ice cream sundae, I hit a fucking wall so hard where I can't even get up.
Yeah.
I have to sit down on the couch. I'm like, it takes like an hour or two for it to get out of my system. So for like an hour, I just sit there and I'm like, oh God, I feel like shit. And then 2 hours later, I'm like, okay, it's done, it's passed.
That's it. It's 2 hours.
Yeah, about 2 hours.
It's like 24 days for me.
Yeah, I believe you. I believe you. But for me, it's just for 2 hours. I mean, and again, I'm not depressed for 2 hours. I just feel like I have a brick in my stomach.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm on a tranquilizer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I lived a whole bunch of my life.
That's crazy.
The tranquilizer, like it's idiopathic hypersomnia. It was like I was falling asleep during exams. I drove home on the highway one time when I was 22, and I was falling asleep at the wheel, and I was like, oh my God, like I can't stay awake, passing out. And I like moved over into a lane, and a truck came by and honked at me, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. And then I went on Adderall.
Whoa.
I was like, I need to stay awake or I'm gonna die. It was
Did you
terrifying.
Get off the Adderall?
Oh yeah, I'm off of everything. And the Adderall, so I stopped taking the immune suppressants when I cut out gluten, just to see how my arthritic flare-ups would go, if anything would happen. Then I got off of the antidepressants November 2015, and then my fatigue lifted in January 2016. So I got off the Adderall right away then. I was taking a lot, and it was great when I was in that like feeling like I was on tranquilizers. It was great, but once you don't need it, it's kind of awful being on that amount of amphetamine all the time.
I know so many people that are on that shit. It's so disturbing to me how many people are taking that, and they talk about their productivity, and they're always...
It makes you feel like you're being productive. destroys your short-term memory.
Does it?
Destroyed mine. I was taking a lot though. I was on 40 milligrams a day in the morning, long release.
It's one of those things I've always thought about trying. I'm like, maybe one day.
If you have energy, I don't think it gives you the kick like if you're exhausted all the time. It's just kind of unpleasant, and it makes you like weirdly antisocial.
Okay, so you haven't been on this diet for a year.
No.
What has the change once you got over the diarrhea? What has the change been like?
So the arthritis and like the autoimmune stuff went away fairly quickly when I was still having diarrhea. That went away. Mood started to pick up 6 weeks into the diet, and then in May, so I'd been December, January, March, April, May, so 5 months into it, I had a huge improvement. So things just got better and better every day, and I finally got to the point where I was pre-pregnancy. So since May, I would say it's still getting better.
So it's only been 3 months that you've been okay.
No, I've been okay since January, but my mood went from like a 8 to like a 9.5, like great in May. So I was feeling good.